Hello. Okay, it works. Welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm here with Leo Potter, and I am going to interview MJ. Okay, it works. Welcome to the stream,
Okay,
everybody. I'm
hello.
here with MJ. What do you think is going to be the strategy, and how do you think the race will end up for you?
The strategy will definitely be two-stop because in the first race in V1, the one-stop definitely did not work. And the race for me, I think I will be in the back for most of the race, but I'm excited to race again as a full time because I didn't do it in season 6.
Do you think you can achieve any points today, or do you think you will crash out and die once again?
There's a 50% chance I crash out and die. There's a 50% chance I score points. So there's no middle ground.
Okay. I wish you luck in your race already. Do you have any certain strategy to make up as many plays as you can?
uh, just WASD. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, MJ.
Thank you.
Now the next, Mac, please enter. Do you have any
Hello.
plans for the race? Do you have any strategy you'd want to follow up
I do
with?
have a strategy planned out. I'm not going to share what it is because I'd like to keep what competitive advantage I might have, which is not going to be much, admittedly. Um, as far as plans for the race in general, I hope to do decent in quali and then just try to keep up.
Did you practice enough to keep up with the leading group, or do you think you'll fall off eventually?
I do not think I will be able to keep up with the leading group. I think that is a dream at best.
What position?
Doesn't mean I won't be trying, of course, but yeah, just
What
slipstream.
position are you looking to achieve today?
Well, I gotta look at who exactly I'm racing. I'd say optimally, I'm top 10 is what I'm hoping for. If I can get top 10, I think I'll be happy with that.
It's a pretty full grid today, so there's a lot of competitors, also new competitors. Are there any particular competitors from you who you are expecting to be in the top?
I think T Jerk Boy is going to be I think he's going to be up there. I don't know if he'll be one of the leading, but I know he'll be up there. I've been keeping an eye on him. Of course, he's my teammate. I've been keeping an eye on his pace, and he's got a good amount of it. I'm expecting him to be one of the front runners this season, and yeah.
Okay, and we have a few returning drivers as well as some drivers that didn't retire. We have Nico Biko, who is well known from season 4 and season 3. Do you expect him to get any good lap times today?
I think that his results in practice speak for themselves. He did pretty good.
We also see
Um,
Dustin. He's driving. He drove in D1 few hours before. He got lost. Nonetheless, do you expect him to be able to fight, as we did see him attempt it, and he has been struggling, especially with these
I'm not
harder
sure really.
times?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
Well, thank you
I guess we'll
for your
see.
time, because we are almost starting. So you can warm up, and we'll see you in qualifying.
Yes. Look for me about in the middle to the bottom of the grid, probably.
Okay.
All right. Nice chatting.
Okay. So Leo, we have the practice times for the best driver for D2, I believe, is Sussy Imposter with a 35.1. Is he on the grid? He is. He's in the race today. Do you think he can achieve anything, Leo?
I think he's the best driver out there on this grid today. I think we will see him on top of the timesheets in qualifying, and if he can keep his consistency throughout the race, he can definitely finish on the podium at least.
Okay, and this will be the previous winners, and we're being in the AM Cup. This used to be the
Who
AM Cup
won
in
the
D2
Rookie
West.
Cup?
Rookie Cup last season was won by this Leoparder 612 guy. followed
Yeah,
up by
he's really
Liquid
good.
Cooler
He
and
should try.
Collab. Not a lot of drivers from the previous winners and podiums are in this division. Do I see anyone this quickly? I actually believe that we will get a new winner here at Flevo. Yeah, I don't see any well-known names that won last season or got a podium. So
Collab got a
let's
podium in Rookie Cup, and he's
let's
racing today.
move on to the layout. 6.8 kilometers, 4.2 miles, 20 corners. Some treacherous like 8, 9, and 10, well known for making people rage quit and being quite difficult, just like 5 and 6. Very tight corners, and we'll probably see some mistakes. Turn 11, one of the most difficult corners in my own opinion. It's more than 90 degrees and it's really sharp. And 16 and 17 are especially treacherous on old and worn tires. Moving on, I think we will see you in a second. Okay. Did it work? Guys, you need to tell me. Is it working or not? Because I have no clue at this point.
You're on the interview screen. No, wait. No, no.
I've done it! I've done it! Okay. And now I
It's
need to.
done
Okay, guys, can you tell me in chat if what is the streaming quality? Because it should be 1080p.
It's good, it's good.
Is it 1080p?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, 5 minutes
I
in.
think
Currently, Hyperbulls is leading with a 35.3, Robloxian with a nearly a 2/10 gap, and then Dustin with 2.5 tenths behind it. That's the top 3. We have one driver who's really far off pace, 5 seconds off. Okay. Wait, it's. Oh! That's
look at the Sogda Motorsport
so.
drivers absolutely
Who are we
cooking in P13 and 14.
So the imposter is, I think, on a lap. Yeah, he is. He will go to pole at 35.370. And then Magnificent is on a lap. Interview with him a few minutes earlier before the technical issues. He will come over to cross the line. He was expecting himself to be in midfield. Let's see. 16th. Not a great lap so far. Anyone who's on a lap? Let's see. We have Nico Biko, returning driver. Well liked by the community, driving for Racing Star, or Latin Racing, I mean. He's well known in season 3 and season 4. He hasn't driven in season 6 and in season 5. He's finally back and he's finding his way P9. As we have Jerk Boy, who is purple in sector 1. He's only 4 tenths off currently. As he enters turn 11, one of the most tricky corners. Gets it pretty clean. Gets a good exit at least. Into 12. Fast left-hander. Let's watch on board. Doesn't improve in sector 2. Probably messed up the snail section. One of the more difficult sections, especially with the new update. A lot of things have been happening to the track in the last few days. Updates, new pit limiters, new track limits, everything that has to be getting used to by these drivers. He goes to P3. Only 700s from him. Let's see, number 17, last driver on the grid. Currently 5 seconds off, improves to 1.6. Second to
Also,
last now.
take note of Yoto, who took P5 in his previous lap. Only 2 tenths of Sassy Imposter.
Yoto also, just like Dustin, a driver who is allowed to go back. Both drivers last season were in Division 1, now both driving in Division 2 West. Anyone is on a flyer? I don't think anyone is. They're all preparing for their second to last laps. But we do see some pretty close gaps, unlike in D1 where we saw some major gaps between P1 and P5. It's really close, only 2 tenths between number 1 and number 6. Is anyone
Olaf got red sector 1.
Yeah, red.
Sassy Imposter is green.
Sassy is green, yeah. Currently already on pole.
His car is also green.
Able to solidify his time? He goes red in sector 2. As he corner cuts, he will probably reset for a new lap. Collab double red. It's not looking great. Pizza P15 green sector 1. Can he make 3 green sector 1 sectors so he can improve his lap time? There is quite a big margin between P13 and P14. As Fro has a purple sector 1. He's under 2 tenths away from Sassy Imposter this time. Enters turn 11, barely misses the corner cut. It's a really tricky corner cut, which in the race, if you get it, will probably ruin your position as it loses nearly 2.5 seconds. doesn't improve in
It's a green
sector
sector
2.
2.
Fro goes red. Doesn't mean too much, that can only be a few hundreds, or maybe he had a major mistake.
Reggie is going to cross the line here. Sector 2 green.
Gets a really clean exit here now through the last corners.
Pizza Gaming. Post green sector
Pizza
P11.
goes 11th. And here goes Fro, crossing the line, improves this time by 18 thousandths, but not his position. As Hyperboss retakes pole position. And I think 16 Rise, yep, he's also on a lap. Goes 11th. Also one of the drivers we saw in D1 today. Did decently. I think he got around P10, if I saw it correctly. And I'm trying to find the driver who's on a lap. I think Nico is on a lap, or Junior is on a lap, currently P10. Both efficient drivers, P9 and P10, looking to improve. As Junior approaches the line, will he improve? He does. He goes to P7. It's really close between these drivers, as we have such little margins from P10 to P5. It's only 2 tenths. Let's see who's on a lap. I think Yoto is going to finish his lap. He goes pole position by a tenth. 135.94. 194. Who are we looking for? Who are we trying to find? Nico Biko slightly lagging, might compromise his lap. Most drivers trying to line up for their last flying lap, I believe. And I think we have one of the Bentley Continental cars lining up for their last lap, now entering turn 3. Not sure who it is. And we have Mac trailing behind there, and then Yoto in front. Yoto deciding to continue even though he has already gotten professional pole. Sack has no lap time at the moment. He's only gonna get one chance, and one chance only. Goes green for himself. As we see no purple sectors, no one is improving that massively. As we have Nico Biko currently P13, almost a second of pole position. He is going to cross the line. Will he catch the flag or make it? I think he makes it. After the flag, he does.
He's
With
gonna
3 seconds to
improve.
spare, he improves by more than 5 tenths and goes to P8.
Golan with a green sector 2. Can he improve from P15?
Magnificent as well. Currently last of the people who have a time set. Currently 17th. Sack and Lepri still have no time and only have one chance to set a good or decent lap time for themselves. Sack from no time to P5 on a solid lap. 3 tenths removed. Magnificent improves. Goes 15th. Reggie enters the pit as he abandons his lap. I think Dustin is going to
Very similar.
approach the finish. Does not improve. Lepri going to the line. Does he improve? He goes 17 from no time set. Pizza crossing the line. Doesn't improve either. MJ crossing the line. Nothing for him. I think we have had most drivers. 3 are still going. First, Kenji last at the moment, does not improve. 16 rise. Will he go? He does. P13 to P7. It's a pretty nice lap time for him. And Sussy, the last one. And that's qualifying for D2 West. Everyone is lining up. Let's look at the tire strategies. Most people are opting for the mediums. Let's see what's happening. Everyone is lining up. Some deciding to despawn, very risky at this point. Everyone has gone from the mediums in the top 10. And then Reggie the first one on softs. Let's see. As the lights are out and we are gone for D2 West Flevo, as we will watch with the leaders. Yoto, pole sitter. I didn't expect him to go to pole, especially as he was lacking quite pace in some of the practice sessions, but he did manage to get ahead of the competition. 4 next to each other into turn 5 and 6. Ooh, Sack is off track, might lose some positions with that. He does, goes from 5th to 7th. Good inside line by the top and the leaders. Magnificent made the most places. He went purple. Of course, being able to start from the back, it gives you that purple sector 1 easier on the first lap. Does mean he has gained the most time. Both efficient drivers 11 and 12. The winners of last season. And Yoto and Sussy Imposter are already trying to pull a gap actually. 7/10 ahead of Fro. What will happen? It's a pretty big trailing pack, you can already call it, as they are 9/10 behind from the top. As I think Sussy made a slight mistake, lost a little bit of time, might have just been dirty air. 5/10 now to Yoto, which gives Reggie the solid connection on the straight. Also, 16 rise with a pretty good start. He went from 13th to 7th in qualifying, and now he's 4th, trailing behind Reggie. As we enter turn 1 into turn 2, very tricky with Slipstream, who gets out in front. No one takes it too wide. They all get out of the corners quite well. It's a dive in. Hyperboss losing a lot of positions through turns 5 and 6. Let's see what is happening at the front. 16 Rise overtook Reggie for P3, as they have now found their way to connect with Sussy and Yoto. Only a few tenths between the two duos. 16 Rise with a more safer exit, which will give Reggie better exit speed. Will he be able to convert that into an overtake into turn 11? 16 Rise with purple sector 1, I just noticed. So he is currently the fastest man on track, I believe. Oh, he goes on the grass and on the, again. Oh, that surely can't be good for his lap time. Let's see then, who does take purple sector 2? Does anyone even take it? I don't know, no one took it. It's already a solidified sector 2 in lap 1. 16 right now, slightly trailing as Nico Biko approaches behind. I think Checkboy went off track, if I saw it correctly, in turn 16. Lost some positions. Let's look at the lead as they cross the finish line. Reggie currently fastest, 35.470. As Reggie has solidified his position in the leading group. So we have a bit of lag from Yoto. (16 Rise taking a wide setup, is being trailed by the second group we'll call it. Nico Biko and Fro, the leaders of that group, are now 2/10 removed from the leading group. Reggie is pulling a gap actually from Miyoto and Sussy, 4/10, which is not the easiest thing to do through sector 1 and 2, as there's not a lot of straights to do that, so it must have been through the trickiest corner, so probably the snail and gave Yoto and Sussy. So Yoto goes wide and wide again. Yeah, if you get one of them wide, you'll get the next one wide as well. It's currently how that ends up. Yoto off track again, which will get 16 Rise his pass into the podium positions again. As we cross the line once again, Sussy now tied with Reggie on time, and they're collapsing together. Can Nico Biko connect with that slipstream? Oh, he goes too deep. Will lose some time with that move. Yeah, he does. Almost 4 tenths. 16 rise, Sussy imposter. Yoto goes wide, misses the apex, goes off track. That will lose him some time. Will that help Nico Biko? Both teammates for Latin Racing. So I think that will put them at the best team at the moment. Or that might be Dentley Continental, as Sussy Imposter is P3 and Sack is in P6. 16 rise into P2. Now let's look at the back. What's happening around there? Tony qualified around P8, if I remember, has dropped a lot of positions, just like Enzo Boy, straight ahead of him, who's going to try to overtake Hyperboss, who I didn't expect to see this far down. Didn't really notice him the entire race. That explains everything now. He's 15th, even though he has been at professional pole 2 times during the qualifying. Pizza overtaking MJ as we enter the last corner onto the straight. Tony can connect with the slipstream, but on Flevo it's quite common for a DRS or a slipstream train to form. So when there's this many people ahead of you, it's quite difficult to catch up on the straights, and it all has to be done in the braking zones and in the corners. And so going a little wide, probably struggling on his tires already. Tony taking the inside goes wide, both go wide and off track. Enzo still barely managing to hang in front of him as they enter turn 8 and into the snail section. Enzo with a wider setup, will that pay off for him on the exit? Side by side now, Tony does get ahead. Enzo will get slipstream quicker though, as they have more chance to overtake in turn 11. And so on the inside line, Pizza and Enzo both corner cut. Oh, that's probably the worst corner cut to get there. 2.5 seconds is your estimated loss when you get that corner cut. Not what you want at all. MJ, the second interviewer, currently P11, just barely in the points positions as points start from P12 and up. And as I think Pizza, after that corner cut, has left. Yes, he has. First person to DNF, as we saw Dustin go wide and miss the apex of the corner, losing contact with MJ and Trick Boy. Dustin saying he will give up. Will he though? He's currently 11th. Still, for this 2 points, you will get in P11 and Tony trailing behind for the last point. Let's follow the leading group. Sack has connected to it and Yoto has fallen off from it. It's 1.1 seconds that Yoto has to regain to get back in that group, as he did manage to gain some time there. Junior and Fro have found their way with Yoto. Can those 3 drivers make their way into the leading group and make it a leading group of 8 drivers? As we enter turn 9 into turn 10, as we see the rest of the pack going across turn 8. Nico Biko having a horrible exit. Will this help the group of 3 trailing behind? Let's see the interval gaps. Yoto currently only 5 tenths to Nico Biko, but that does mean when they overtake Nico Biko, they have to gain another 6 tenths, especially this late on the medium tires. Might be difficult because of the dirty air. So I think the best chance they are gonna get to overtake Nico will be on the straight, as we see Sack going completely off track. Will lose his position. This gives double advantage to Junior and Yoto. Sack goes wide again, which will help Fro still connect, as he has fallen off quite a bit from Junior and Sack. Yeah. As we enter lap 7. 16 Rise is your current leader with Reggie tied to it. So we enter turn 2. And we have the first person to dive into the pits. He started on the soft tires. Let's see, what does he do? Where does he go to? Gets a great pit stop, gets it perfectly. Goes to the mediums. So I think he will go soft to medium to soft, and he will pit again in lap 17 or 18. Let's go back to the lead. Reggie 16 Rise clearly ahead of the rest. The two Latin racing cars trying to get back, as I think Sussy Imposter, one of the best drivers in this division according to the practices, just corner cut at turn 10. One of really annoying to get because you don't corner cut there a lot. Grip might be leaving their tires lap 7. Ooh, I think that was Junior. He was on the grass. He manages to recover it. Currently P4, P3 as Nico Pico stays behind him. Zach going wide again. As we enter the straight, Junior has done a pretty well recovery from start. As we have Reggie going on the undercut. Or, no, he's on the soft tires. Yeah, that's why he was leading. Okay. He will probably switch to the mediums. Or will he go to the softs and end on the mediums? I think it's better for him to go to the mediums now and to the softs later. Yes, he will go to the medium tires. Currently P16. Will he stay P16? He gets 17th. He will stay 17th. Let's see how much time he can gain on the leaders at this point. As currently he will probably be the professional leader after everyone is done with their pit stops. The second person to pit after Magnificent. Let's see. Sack slightly trailing behind, and the spring extends itself. You have a real pack in front, but it's just fallen soldiers behind, really. They're separated from each other and can't really find their way back alone. I think the best option for these drivers that are not in the group or barely outside of it is to take the undercut and pit maybe a lap earlier. So at the end of the stint, the medium tire is around 2.5 seconds slower than at the start in lap 1. Tony going really wide. So what they could try and do is go on the softs, extend one lap more, just so they can take advantage from the slipstream on the end of their stint. Will we see any pitters this lap? MJ pits. Will he be the only one that pits? Colab passes pit lane. Lepre passes pit lane. MJ will be the only one to pit. He's on the soft tires as well. Extended his run really far, I must say. I think he won't do that again. He goes to the mediums. I think it wasn't a great run from him. Personally, I would not go more than 7 laps on those softs. It loses too much time to continue after that. But he decided to go 9 laps. And let's go back to the lead. 4-man pack now at the front, and trailing behind slightly is Fro, Sussy, Jerk, and Sack, who have found their way back together. Entering turn 11. Do we see anyone make the corner cut? No, but both Latin cars go slightly wide, which lose them time as we enter turn 12. Wide entry by Junior and 16 Rise, with Yoto diving under both of them. Into turn 14. No one goes extremely wide. Junior goes slightly off track. 16 Rise off track, and Nico Biko off track as well. Let's look at the trailing group. Jerk, Sack, and Fro. As we have the majority to pit now. 16 Rise, the first one to pit of the leading group. Sassy Imposter, Jerk, and Sack following behind Tony, deciding to go I think this is the majority. Dustin, Enzo, Hyperboss, Lepre, and Colab all pit. Let's look at the tires. We see some mediums changing to softs. I think most mediums are gonna be changing to softs. As we see most drivers already exiting the pit lane, and we see the tires turning red. Ooh, Kenji going for the 2-stop, which has proven to be the slower strategy in the Division 1 race. It might be all he has, as he's currently lost by quite a margin. So he has to pray that it somehow works out for him, and the degradation is heavier than expected for the other drivers. It isn't very hopeful. I'm not very hopeful. I mean that this will work out. As we have the drivers who haven't pitted leading, it's only 4 drivers left: Fro, Junior, Nikobiko, and Yoto. Fro driving in no man's land at this point, completely alone on track. Ahead of him, 2.2 seconds behind him. He has 9 seconds to spare to ready the second pitter of the race, as everyone will now pit, and that will make all drivers have pitted once. Where will they end up? Who will be in front? Let's look from Reggie's perspective. He will definitely overtake everyone in there. But now, the professional leader, will it be 16 Rice, or will Nikobiko and Johto come out ahead? 16 Rice passes them, and he is gone. How far will the gap extend between the drivers? 16 Rice plus 5. Plus 5. Johto plus 9. Almost a 4-second loss for the drivers who only extended 1 lap more. Does mean they get that better tire at the end. They will slowly gain as there are more drivers in the group. As you can see from this perspective, you see 16 Rice alone, then trailing behind comes the entire group around turn 7. Dustin the last to be in that group, slightly trailing behind his teammate Fro, who is still trying to hook on to Yoto. Hyperboss setting purple sector 1. He did go pretty well in qualifying. Probably too well, expecting that he did get points, but he's currently 15th. Still has chances to gain up to P12. As I do wonder what happened in the pit lane to Nikobiko. What happened to him? He is 12, not with Yoto and Junior anymore. What has happened to him? Hyperboss purple sector 2 again, Enzo goes wide. Hyperboss going for the overtake. Barely stays behind. What lap time will be the new fastest lap time? Who will set it and what will it be? Dustin currently 35.4. And now we see 4 more drivers. Hyperboss 35.129. Pretty solid lap. I don't think anyone can reach that further on in the race unless they pit for softs again and get some really quick pace with the slipstream. Hyper flying through the field now, overtaking Enzo on the rear of Magnificent. Will he overtake him in turn 7? He will overtake Mag, but Enzo gets back ahead. So we look at the midfield. Tony on his way of a recovery race, fighting MJ with Zack and Jerkboy behind. Will he go? He dives pretty deep. Side by side, MJ gets the better exit. Tony, of course, with the better tires on the soft and MJ on the mediums. Okay, we have an interesting strategy from the 2 Latin racing cars. Both of them went too hard. That explains why they're so much slower than the rest. Junior was already separating himself from the Latin racing cars as soon as they came out of the pits. And this definitely explains why. Now 16 rise 3.3 seconds to Reggie in P1. Junior on only a 2-second gap to 16 rise, who has the Horde, the Plague behind him, chasing him down, trying to get past him with the Slipstream. As they might manage to, Sack and Trick are on him right now. Trick does get past, and Sussy also gets past. Entering turn 8, turn 9, turn 10. Who will gain, who will lose? Tricky corner, exit of turn 10 has just been revamped only 30 hours ago, so drivers aren't completely used to it and might have to save a bit of the time. Tony and Fro together might try to catch up and might want to team up together. It's 2 against 3, who will get the better pace? Of course, Tony having those soft tires gives him an advantage to the drivers in front of him, Trick and Sussy, who are fighting with Junior next to him. Junior slightly pulling away through the corners, but that won't matter too much, as now we have the long straight. Let's see the gap close up, 3.8 and 3.2 ahead, 6 tenths for Trick. Goes for the very wide line, just chooses to ignore the slipstream, and barely manages to gain any. Sassy Imposter, because of that, might make it through in turn 3, turn 4. Entering turn 5. Turn 6. Nothing happened. Trick still side by side. Sussy managing his way around. Candy currently still lost. Driving a pretty lonely race, just like a Lepre for Scuderie Comuna West. His teammate, though, currently P11, fighting with Yoto, Sack, and Dustin. Because the gap between P12 and P9 in terms of points is quite big, at 6 points or 1 point. So they're fighting for MJ currently for 2 points and Dustin for 6. Let's follow the leaders, as Reggie's gap has been diminished. It's now less than a second. Reggie still trailing the pack, but also 16 Rise, his gap has closed up from 2 seconds to 3 tenths as we enter the straight 5 tenths. Will he be able to overtake into turn 1, turn 2? Of course, the braking might be tricky with this much slipstream. He will be on the rear. He will. Will he be able to pass? No, he can't. Goes slightly wide, loses a bit of exit speed. Junior still trailing behind, but here he goes through in turn 4. Diving into turn 5. Gets a better entry. Gets a bad exit though, which will get Junior and Reggie both past him. Junior with the new fresh soft, which will grant him a perfect inside line. Reggie going slightly wide, entering turn 8. Junior will lead turn 9 and exiting the snail section. Who will be ahead? They're side by side, but Junior looks to be ahead by a slight margin with the better exit speed, but 16 Rise is closing up into turn 11. Does he get ahead? Currently does look like he is, but they're on par. Gets ahead, but does he get a better exit? No, he does not. Reggie slightly trailing behind, trying to preserve his tires as much as possible. Of course, on those medium tires, he has to keep up for about 3 laps more at the moment. So overall, not a bad stint from him. As we enter the next lap, lap 16. And Magnificent in the pit. First to pit for the second time on the soft tire or on the medium tires. Will he go for the mediums again? It will be quite a long distance to travel on the softs. Misses his pit box. He does go for another medium run. Now has quite a big gap to catch up to Kenji. 10 seconds and 9 laps to do it. Nico, Biko and Yoto. Nico falling off relatively more than Yoto. Yoto keeping up quite well with Tony and Sack still 8th at the moment, which will definitely get him in first position for a little bit if after all the medium and soft runners pit in the next laps. Of course, the soft, medium, soft runners and the medium, soft, softs are going to want to pit around the same lap, lap 17, lap 18. Will we see anyone trying an undercut already? No, we won't. Oh, we do actually. Hyperboss and Enzo, P12 and P14, basically have nothing to lose. Hyperboss only having to lose 1 point. Misses his spit box. Will Enzo get it right? Enzo slightly too early on the brakes. Lepri also entering the pits. Both of the drivers going to the soft tires. This will gain them quite a lot of pace compared to the others. So they will have 1 lap older tires at the end. Kenji approaching from behind. Overtakes Enzo for a few seconds, but Enzo on those new soft tires will definitely outpace him. Those last 3 laps are going to be crucial for these undercutters, especially because their tires wear so quickly. These softs going from really fast to really slow very quickly. The turnaround is around lap 6, where it goes from only losing a second per lap to almost 2 seconds instantly. As they enter turn 9, turn 10, gaining, they are currently 31 seconds behind. Jerk and throw going wide, clearly showing signs of tire wear this far into the stage. As we will see Junior, will he go pit or will he stay out? 16 Rice going for the pit. Who will we see entering as well? Fro and Reggie decide to go in the pit lane. Sussy stays out. Yoto, Sack stay out. Tony and Dustin come in. MJ goes in. Nico stays out, of course, on those hard tires. Most of them will. Oh, I think Dustin overshot his pit box. As the first pit box is always tricky because you can't copy the line of other people. Collab as well entering the pits, and I will be right back.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay, I'm back. As not much has changed, we will see the people who stay out currently approaching the pit lane. Junior pits, and all of them must follow. Yoto almost forgetting that he's on a different strategy, baiting himself into the pit lane. And here comes Sack. Sack staying out is quite surprising as he's on the medium tire. Will definitely lose him a lot of time. Nikubiko following on those hard tires. 16 Rise and Fro already approaching. And they will definitely be 4 seconds ahead. How much will the damage be limited? Looks like it is 2.3 seconds is marginally less than the previous pit stop where it was 4 seconds for the undercutters. Genji pitting as he is on the hards, probably feeling the hards where have been changed a lot recently, going on the softs to finish his race most likely. As we have the current leaders Yoto, Sek and Nico being chased down by 16 Rise quite early, which is not the best case scenario. It's 5 seconds to Nico Biko from 16 Rise. 6 laps to do it and 10 seconds to the lead. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, especially considering those hards already being worn will probably be at the same tire as the softs on the end. How much will they gain a lap? They've gained almost a second just in sector 3 alone. As we see Sack enter pit lane really late, missed probably a good chance to be up in the lead. Sack dropping to P8. Only stop now. Hyperboss is out. Second person to leave. He had fastest lap, but now because he won't finish, won't grant him a point. Sack exiting the pit lane in 13th. A lonely 13th at that. 16 Rise has reduced the gap from 5 seconds to 2 seconds. As they exit the snail section. 1.5. This is clearly where you see those pace of the hards being significantly less than the softs. Nico already expecting the worst. I don't think Nico can retain his position for long. I'm expecting him to end up in P9, and I'm hoping the best for Yoto, who has 5 seconds more to spare. 1 second. They're in the slipstream range, and they will probably overtake him through turn 2. Biggest overtaking point, especially on the comparison of these worn tires. Nico Biko taking a wide line to avoid giving the slipstream to the drivers. As you see that pack of 3 already close behind. Nico Biko trying to defend. Fro and 16 Rise get the chance now. Fro takes it. 16 Rise goes wide. Will have horrendous exit speed. Nico Biko into turn 5. He does get past. 16 Rise now in third. You can clearly see in turn 7 that difference between darts. Takes a wide exit, gets the apex, but still a wide exit, yeah. As Jerkboy, who's been in solid P8 for most of the race, has gone for a great recovery, I must say, from being P10 at the lowest, now up to P4, connecting himself to Fro and 16 Rise, who are only 2.7 seconds removed from Yoto. Yoto probably going to be overtaken in 1 or 2 laps from now, so he has to brace for the worst. As Sack exits the race, he was 13th, barely outside of the points. Pitted basically 1 or 2 laps too late, which lost him everything. as that will give Kenji another position into P16. Jerk now side by side with Fro. Clean and good, great line. I don't like the look of that line. It will give him a better entry in turn 9. Overshoots turn 10, which will give him P4. Wu Junior going on the grass. Okay, as we approach the final 3 laps of this race, of the D2 West race. Very interesting race, especially with more returning drivers, drivers from old divisions, drivers from higher divisions previous seasons. Dustin MCA and Yoto being main ones from that. Yoto dropping positions now, goes from P2 to P5 in a single corner. That's the heavy hit he wasn't hoping to get. Already trailing him on 1.3. And Fro leading the race. Jerk, 16 Rice, Junior, Yoto, Reggie, Sussy. As we of course know, Fro has has been trying to get a win for the longest time. Jerk! No! He goes off track and completely blows it. Oh, that's quite a shame for him. That's the mistake I've been looking for quite a long time, as I've seen Junior do something quite similar, Yoto going wide, but barely managing to save it. Jerk now has 2 laps to recover himself. Of course, he has Reggie to take him there. Reggie gaining and gaining, 7 tenths removed from the lead. Will Jerk gain advantage, and will his mistake be forgotten? Robloxian still looking for his win. Frin is coming. Will it be in D1? Will it be in D2? Of course, not being able to get one multiple times last season, and in season 5 as well. He was denied Frin multiple times. Does he get the opportunity here in the first race of D2 West? It does set a promising picture for the rest of the season for him. Quite a strong performance as we enter turn 11, the tricky corner. No one seems to have made a huge mistake. Reggie losing a little bit of time, probably because he went wide. As you see Junior taking that very risky outside line that's barely on track. Junior now with a 5-10 lead. Reggie going wide again. 16 Rice. Oh, someone went really wide there. I think that was Reggie. Has been quite difficult to keep up with so many mistakes. Of course, now gets the slipstream onto it, again goes wide. Reggie is really getting trouble with these older tires. 1.4 seconds behind now, as the top 5 closes in on the leader. Fro will dive down the inside, but doesn't get it, as Junior goes really wide. Drops 2 positions. Fro, Jerk must say his mistake was quite big. but it's already gone. Junior from P1 suddenly back into P5, one of the later stoppers, so does have the tires to get back now on this final lap. Will he be able to do it this quickly? Losing positions is so annoying, especially in the closing stages of the race. Doesn't seem to get a lot of slips. 16 rides with a bad exit from the snail. Junior will claim back one position already. Fro, as they go down into turn 11, supposed to go wide. Who will get out of turn 12 the first? Will it be Sussy, will it be Cherk? I think Sussy went a little wide. Cherk will get the better entry. Now, will anyone go off Cherk? 60 rise! Ooh, he goes really wide and then wide again. I think 16 rise has solidified a P5 for him. Nothing to do there. Sussy Imposter leading with Junior pacing him down. 6 tenths. I think Sussy Imposter got it. I think he solidified his win here in Flevo. Will he get across the line first? He must if he doesn't make any mistakes. He wins. Sussy Imposter wins. Junior second. Trick third. Fro fifth. Fourth. 16 Rice fifth. Tony finishing in front of Reggie on the finish line. So 6 for Tony, 7 for Reggie. Yoto and Nico 8 and 9. Dustin 10. MJ barely losing out to him P11. Enzo the last point finisher 12th. Collab 13. Lepri P14. And Mac 15. Kenji closing out the field P16. Crossing the line and closing the field. That was our D2 West race for today. As we have one race left to go this weekend. Tomorrow, D2 East, quite early in the morning at 12 CET. Our winner, Sassy Imposter, was already strong in the practices, and Junior, a very promising driver, had a good result last season, being barely a runner-up in the Rookie Cup. Turk, a rookie himself, with a solid result, and then Fro and 16 Rise coming down from D1 now in D2 West, 4th and 5th. That was D2 West, and we will see you in 14 hours for the D2 East race.